Hey guys, don't know what I'm doing here. This is my first crack at going live. Let me know if you can see me okay, if you can hear me all right. So I'm at home in the garage, world headquarters. Uh, yeah, just I probably should have actually went on the community post or something and gave you guys a heads up that I was doing this, but just trying it out. How's it going, Lyle? Good to see you. Yeah, so I do have some things I wanted to share with you today. So if you guys were into the whole, oh, Neil, hi, Neil. If you guys are into the whole valve cover racing thing, so the Dragons have actually just informed me recently that they're, hi, Mike, good to see you. Oh, we got a couple people on here anyway, so this isn't a total, burn down deal. You never know. I just very much from the school of just try things out. I'm just trying new stuff. So one of my favorite things about Rob. Hi, Rob. My favorite things about having this channel is just conversing with you guys. All the comments and stuff like that. It's just been a lot of fun, and I've met a lot of people. I'm grateful that I've been able to meet all the people like you guys, and that's the most fun about having this channel. So anyway, I was saying that the Dragons uh, are going to do a valve cover deal uh, this Monday night, 7:30 p.m. So if you've got a valve cover and it's ready to go, bring it down to the clubhouse Monday night, 7:30. They have meetings there every Monday night, and at 7:30 on, they're gonna start their whole valve cover thing. So I'm kind of giving you a late notice. So I just found out about this. If you don't have a valve cover ready and you just want to see what this thing is all about, uh, come on down and just watch. See what these guys got in their valve covers. Have a look at the track and that sort of thing. Uh, yeah, it'll be fun. Either way, whether you got a valve cover or not, come on down and check it out. So I wasn't really sure how to start this whole thing. Please let me know if you guys can hear me okay, if you can see me okay. I'm just using my laptop in the garage here. Uh, Not sure if it's, you know, if I got to look into getting some different equipment to do this whole thing. Yeah, you can see me, you can hear me. Good, good, good to hear. Well, that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, the whole valve cover thing's it's kicking off Monday night. So I'll be there with my valve cover. It's either gonna go, we're gonna have fun either way, whether it crashes and burns or whatever. Uh, really looking forward to that. And they talked about maybe doing it every month, you know, after after that. Of course, we're getting close to Christmas, so I'm gonna keep you posted as soon as as I learn from them what they're doing. Uh, I'll share it with you guys. Just something extra fun to do in the wintertime. So you guys can see me okay? It's a little bit dark in here. Oh, I was going to mention also, uh, my good friends at Garage Inc. have sent me some shirts. I'm going to share that with you right away. I'm all about sharing, I'm all about supporting our friends in local business. Uh, Kyle at Garage Inc. has actually made a really cool rendering of my car, and I thought I'd share that with you today. Uh, Now, you can get this rendering or whatever rendering you want. It's kind of a cartoon version. Why don't I just show you? So that's what it looks like. That's Kyle came up with that rendering, and he's got it on a T-shirt. So I got a T-shirt, and I also got another shirt. I don't have the other shirt out here today, but Garage Inc. makes these cartoon version of my car, and you can get this stuff from them. Uh, Kind of cool. And he supplied some stickers for me also. I should show you a sticker here. So that's Garage Inc. I believe they're located in Nacum, Saskatchewan, so they're local people. You see them at a lot of events. And Neil, Back 40 Embroidery, another one of my favorite local companies. They made all my decals for my YouTube channel. Designed and created. Need a little bit more light on my face, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I should have some more lights here. See if I can rig something up. Oh, that's pretty bright. Well, there's something anyway. Is that a little better or is that worse? This whole live stream thing is wacky. I'm new to this. Oh, yeah, Lyle, you got their business card? Yeah. That's better, Neil. Thank you. You can see me a little better. Yeah, so it's actually cold in the garage this morning. It's about I got the heater going. It's about 13 degrees in here. It was a horribly cold week here, and I didn't have the heater on all week. And like I say, it's electric heat in here, so it only gets turned on, when I'm doing something in the garage. And anyway, I thought I'd come live from the garage. That's where most of my videos take place. No, Braden. Hey, Braden. I had a lot of fun at the Rad Lads Clubhouse Wednesday of last week. Got to meet all a great bunch of guys at the Rad Lads. Oh, Mike, you're making another channel? You're going to need a logo. Speak to Neil. He was great at creating that channel logo for me. Yeah, I had a lot of fun at the Rad Lads Clubhouse. Great bunch. You guys are going to do well. That's a cool clubhouse. You got a neat car show coming up. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing all the cars too. Some awesome cars, a lot of talent in that club. Yeah, that 79 Cutlass, Lyle, you're right. That's a nice car. I guess that was Braden's wife's or fiance's grandfather's car. Obviously, well looked after. Yeah, I gave you a little bit of a start there, Neil, on the logo, but you really refined it. So I kind of came to Neil with a little bit of a drawing of my channel logo, and Neil really made it what it is. I kind of had an idea, and it was just a hand sketch deal. And Neil created what you see today, and I'm really happy with that logo. It's cool. While Braden's on here, I should probably show you. I don't know if you can see that. I got that done yesterday. Some automotive pinstripe. It's still got the Band-Aid on it. I was going to actually have Braden, who's a talented pinstripe artist, create something for me. I ran out of time, and I actually just found something online, and hopefully the Rad Lads approve of that. The wife and I both went under the needle yesterday. It was kind of Christmas presents to each other. Yeah, neat clubhouse, cool guys there for sure. 10 in the club at the Rad Lads. But I think 5 or 6 were present that night. We'll have to meet the other guys. Thanks, Neil. Yeah, nice stripes. I sat in the chair for about 2 hours yesterday. I've always had this idea of automotive pinstriping as a nice tattoo. I love automotive art. And the wife had a cover-up deal she wanted to do, so she found somebody that a local tattoo artist here in town, and it turns out he's a car guy. He's actually done some pinstriping with horsehair brush on cars before. He's a car guy. He's got a 64 Buick. Got to know him. He was a really cool guy, talented artist. And yeah, I had the right guy. And he did some cover-up work for the wife. And yeah, he did that little thing. I found that online. And he made up a stencil. And so he didn't actually make that. Something I found that I thought would fit my arm. Yeah, Mike. So what's the new channel, Mike? Your new channel, your next channel. So you're looking at maybe starting another one. So I'm talking to Mike here, Mr. Heated Jackets Quebec Garage, located in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Mike's been on my channel, and I've been on his. Great guy. And you're starting another channel, Mike? Elaborate for us. Mike's got a nice 71 Nova, and he just built himself a big shop there in Moose Jaw. Pretty 71 Nova, kind of a rare car. My plan for this whole live thing, well, I wanted to try it out today, but my plan for the future is to have some of my friends on here. Ken Bird, he's a local body man, 43 years experience, very talented guy. I thought I'd get him on here. Of course, I have to try this out to see if it works first. But I wanted to get him on here and share some of his knowledge in the auto body world. Kelvin Johnson, another buddy of mine that appears on the channel a lot. I'd like to get him on here and it'd be a really cool Q&A kind of a deal. A logo for your existing channel. Okay, I got you. Well, draw something up. And if you got something in mind, draw something up and throw it at Neil, and he'll make magic of it. Yeah, support your local guys. We're lucky to have all the local talent that we have here, our friends in local business. Got to keep them around by supporting them. So if you guys saw the Rad Lads video, those fellas are into the lowered stuff. There's not enough of that around Saskatoon, especially the hydraulics. Yeah, cool to have guests out. That is my plan with this whole live stream thing, is to get some guests on here. Between Kelvin and Ken, myself, and some of the other friends I have, there's over 100 years between us three guys, automotive experience. And it would be cool for people that are, if they got a project they're building, or trying to read the comments here. Got some stuff in the way on my screen. Yeah, so all the live streams I've watched, you can see why there's this big pause here. I'm trying to read this stuff and see what's going on and keep it going. I can see why there's all these little lags in the system. Now that I've experienced it from this end. So this summer was exceptional. I had a lot of fun this summer. I got about 1,000 miles on the Chevelle, roughly. Don, 70 Chevelle. Hey, Don. Oh, Don with the white Chevelle out of Moose Jaw. That was a special car. I really enjoyed doing that interview with you. Really neat. Really super neat car. With a lot of Moose Jaw history. Mike, you'll know what that's about. To have a car, disappear like that and then find it 20 years later. Super cool. Thanks, Mike. You have some cool stuff on your channel too. I got to get down there and see your shop. Mike built himself a super nice shop and big high ceilings. He's got a hoist in there. He just finished wiring and insulating and sorry, my thing is kind of cutting off the comments here halfway. I don't know how I moved that. Oh, there we go. Oh, you guys still got me there? I don't know what I did. There, that's better. You guys still see me? Thanks for doing the walk around at the shows. Yeah, you're welcome, Neil. Oh, you haven't run into Don yet? Well, you got to. He's a local guy to your community. Hey, Rob. Nice to have you on here. Oh, you just watched Mike. Yeah, keep up with Mike's channel. Oh, you're welcome, Mike. Always. You've done lots of shout outs on mine. Well, thanks for tuning in, Lyle. Lyle's got to go. Thanks for checking us out. Appreciate you. Mike. So Christmas being around the corner, I just mentioned Garage Inc. Back 40 embroidery. You guys looking for some Christmas gifts? They got a lot of cool stuff. Hats, jackets, t-shirts, banners, stickers, whatever you like. If I were to build one more car, gosh, I don't know if I got another one in me. The last big build I did was a 67 Firebird. That was a frame off deal. And in the end, it had a really nice paint job on it. A 502 HO crate engine, turbo 400 transmission, 373 gear, frame connectors. And it was kind of a drag theme build. And it cost me, well, when I built that car in 08, our dollar was on par with the American dollar, so it was a lot easier for me to put that car together, at least financially. And it took me about 5 years at that. And in the end, I spent as much painting that car. So I didn't paint it. I did all the basic body work and the metal work, the interior. Everything was built in this garage behind me. And when I was done, it cost me as much just to get that car sprayed as it did to do the complete build. And it was probably the nicest car I ever owned. However, I was very selective where I would take it. I wouldn't take it to just any event. The Chevelle, I felt more comfortable driving that thing anywhere. It was actually built in it was painted in a garage. So the paint job on that car is it's not near as show quality as that Firebird was. So anyway, there was a fellow that came along and the timing was right. He wanted that Firebird, and I had done pretty much everything I was going to do with that car. So that went down the road. He apparently that car's in Eston, Saskatchewan. I don't know that he drives it much. According to the locals, he doesn't get it out much. It just kind of sits in the garage. He's got a collection of cars, and it kind of sits in there. And that's fine. I don't have to look at that thing every day. I don't see it at events everywhere I go, and that's okay. I don't mind that. So I don't know. To answer your question, I don't know. There's a lot of cars out there that I've never owned that I'd love to own. I've always wanted to build I've got this drag racing background. I've always wanted to build a purpose-built drag car. I've never done that. I had a thing for V8 Vegas at one time. I got a thing for the Go Fast stuff. And I've never built a purpose-built drag car. And I think that's one thing I've always wanted to do. Now, what kind of car I'd build, I don't know. There's so many out there. Hard to answer that question. I've never owned a 66, 67 Nova. I've always loved that body style. Yeah, I guess hard to say. Oh, 50 Special Deluxe. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it's been an exceptional summer. A classic C10. So Neil's suggesting I build a classic C10 short bed. I love trucks. I love trucks. I've owned a lot of trucks, but I've never had a custom built truck. Yeah, you're right, Mike. The cost to build a car today. I feel bad for, my last, like I say, the last big build I did was 08, 07, 08. And that car was on the Dragons poster in 09. It was the nicest car I ever had. But like I say, the dollar was on par. A lot easier for me. And today, fellas that are, putting together cars that are complete builds, oh man, it's expensive. So if you watched I did a recent video last Monday. Guy I work with, Randy, he's building a 66 Chevelle for his good longtime friend Gord. And that's it's got a lot of late model stuff in it. It's an LS1 4L60E, I believe, transmission, 4-speed auto. And it's got a digital dash. It's got a nice polished steering column, tilt column. It's back halved, mini tubbed, I should say. It's got a lot of whizzy tech in it. And Randy's pretty resourceful. Him and Gord have found a lot of stuff on Amazon, some stuff on eBay. But the engine mounts, that real whizzy intake on that engine, that alien style intake that was on there, that's off of Amazon. And they're finding, at least Randy and Gord, they're finding a lot of cool prices on some of this stuff. The engine mounts, all that cool stuff at reasonable prices. Now, I've never had a lot of experience with Amazon. Back in the day, I used to use eBay a lot, but they're finding some pretty neat prices on Amazon. So if you're building a car, check it out. Like I say, I haven't done it. I haven't bought anything from there, but they've bought a ton of stuff to build that car, and they've had great success, and the parts seem to be fine, and they're nice. Straight six out of a Trailblazer in that C10. Ah, okay. Yeah, so if you're building a car, check out Amazon. Like I say, I don't have any experience with that, but those guys are right in the middle of a big car build. That's a full frame off deal. Uh, they're doing well, and they're getting all the whizzy parts that they like in there. It's turning out really nice. If you watch that video, incidentally, that video got around, and a fairly wealthy fella, and I don't know if he's in the States or Canada, but he saw that video and he reached out to Gord, the owner of that 66 Chevelle, and he wants to commission Randy to build it's like a sick fish, Joe Rogan's sick fish. Guy's got a thing for Mopars, and he wants, he has his plan for $500,000 type car build, and he would like to employ Randy to do that. So I don't know where that's going to go. I thought it was really cool. It's kind of a feather in Randy's cap for the build he did on that car. It's turning out super nice. Yeah, I got to get out to the Moose Jaw show. That turned out cool. Mike covered that, and he did an amazing job. There's some cool stuff there. I had some friends actually make the trip down from Saskatoon to Moose Jaw, and that was a cool that was a super cool show. Yeah, Mike, apparently the quality of parts they got off of Amazon was good. Randy would bring a lot of this stuff to work and actually show me, like the custom auto sound radio that they bought, and the column, the dash, the digital dash. I believe all that stuff. Some stuff they bought, various places, but a lot of that pricey, hard to find stuff came off of Amazon. I was kind of shocked, but the quality's there. It's nice stuff. So I've had kind of a busy week. So I was in this one end of town called Montgomery 3 times. I was in there Sunday to visit my good buddy Wayne. We did a video on his 37 5-window coupe. And I returned on Monday to visit my co-worker on that 66 Chevelle build. And then I returned again to see the Rad Lads Clubhouse. Busy week. Yeah, I bet you guys did. And the weather was right at the Moose Jaw show too. You guys had amazing weather. Amazing turnout there in Moose Jaw. I got to get down to that one for sure. Another big show that I missed this year, that a local friend attended, or I had some friends attend, was the Radium Hot Springs. Some local people went down there. I watched a little bit of video on that, and that is an amazing show, just in a backdrop of the mountains. Radium is a beautiful place. The wife and I did a little vacation down there pre-COVID, and we stayed out there for a few days. Beautiful place, Radium. What a great place for a car show. And they have a big annual show every year. My good buddy Travis, with his 70 Chevelle big block blower car, he trailered the car out there for that. Another guy that appears on the channel with his 67 Beaumont, he made the trip out there. There's several guys that do that one every single year. That is, I've heard about that show for years. Didn't realize how cool that was until I saw some of the feedback from them and video on that show. Amazing. Yeah, we got these shows on my bucket list. Radium's one of them. Very, very cool place. We're really lucky here in Saskatoon too. We had a lot of these pop-up events that stuck around. The Cars and Coffee and the Friday Night Classics, and what's the other one now? I can't remember. Anyway, these events that show up on a weekly basis, these come and go deals, were a lot of fun. You don't have to dedicate your whole day to be there. Just show up when you want. They're like 6 to 9 in the evening, and then the Cars and Coffee is like 9 o'clock till 11 or noon or whatever. Just come and go and hang out, and the number of people that show up for those things is incredible. And like I say, you're not dedicating a whole day to a event and face to park somewhere and stuck for the whole day. Not that I don't like those events. I love those events. But that come and go stuff on a weekly basis. So if you miss a week, you can return, the following week if you want to. There's going to be one every week during the summer. It's great. Yeah, the A&W Hop Night. That's one I've always loved that event. Technically, I'm the Shifters is a Facebook group today. I'm technically a member. I'm a part of that Facebook group. And Yeah, I love that A&W Hop Night. That's just the greatest thing ever. And we had beautiful weather for that. I don't know that we missed any. I think I missed one. Yeah, you guys drove in from Moose Jaw, and that was cool. And you, yeah, you brought a different vehicle each time, and nice vehicles too. Made the trip in from Moose Jaw to the Cars and Coffee, hung out, had breakfast, drive home. Nice to see Moose Jaw people there. That's where I met Mike. Was at the Cars and Coffee. Mike came down. Lots of fun. Yeah, it's been a good turnout for the weekly stuff. People really like that. It's really nice to just get up, hop in the car, take off, grab a coffee in the morning, hang out for a couple hours, go home. You don't waste your whole day. And there's always something new too. It just blows me away. You know, I attend a lot of events in the city and surrounding area all summer long. And just when you thought you saw it all and there couldn't be possibly any more new stuff, 10 new cars show up at these events. It's never boring. It's never boring. Since COVID, I don't think COVID, I don't know that COVID had anything to do with it, but since COVID, the ex, the extra amount of uh, interest in the car community has been phenomenal. Yeah, made good friends with Mike at the Cars and Coffee and Don, and man, I met a lot of people in the last couple of summers. Great people. I feel blessed to have made the friends I have. It's very cool. Yeah, it's kind of neat hanging out with some like-minded people and checking out some cool cars. And the interest in cars, though, this last couple of summers has been amazing. People just want to get outside, I guess. Uh, they've had something sitting in the garage for 10 years and then COVID hit, so they had some time to work on it maybe. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but after that, all these little pop-up events, arrived, and they've been so very well attended. The Cars and Coffee has actually outgrown its venue. They changed the hours slightly. Uh, they made the hours a little earlier so people would leave a little later, because what would happen at noon, places like Manchester, the little restaurant next door, their parking lot was completely full. Employees couldn't even get into their restaurant, let alone any of the patrons. Mr. Big and Tall, the clothing store right next to Tim Hortons, was just completely surrounded by vehicles until noon. And some of those local businesses got a little bit of a upset. Every Sunday this was going on, and they'd go to open their shop, and yeah, they can't get in there and they can't park, and it was kind of creating a problem. But that just goes to show you the kind of interest we've had, in some of those little deals. Started out pretty small. I think I attended the first one. There was 10 cars there this spring. And the weather was kind of rainy and kind of iffy. And then it just blew up. Yeah, right, Mike. We do speak the same language. We just all have, we're just all enthusiasts. And the cool thing is, you're seeing people, it's not just all muscle cars, or it's not all rat rods, and it's not all tuner cars. It's a mix of everything at these. Now, there was one event that wasn't allowing certain cars in. I think you guys remember me talking about that, which is too bad. But the Cars and Coffee, certainly, there's a real mix of every single. You had Neil brought out a really nice original car, low mile original car. So you've got the low mile original guys, you've got the tuner guys, you've got everybody, muscle car guys, you got guys that are into trucks and lowered vehicles, and man, there's just so much stuff. And then you got guys like Mike and Don, Sam making the trip from Moose Jaw, and that's the coolest thing ever. Out of town folks that are coming to check out the little Cars and Coffee deal. That event was actually started by RCMP officer. I'm not going to tell you his name, but he's kind of I think he's kind of a tuner guy. If I had to pick a category for him, and it was kind of geared towards the tuner guys at the beginning, and then a lot of old school muscle car guys started to show up, and just all these car folk and truck folk and guys with bikes, and there's dudes showing up with Harleys and Triumphs and race cars. Blair brought out his Cadillac how many times to that event? Brian Stevenson brought his Mustang. Of course, you got Steven with his Falcon. These are, super. There was a race truck, I believe it was an S10 with a 383 stroker in it. The guy would trailer it to that event, park in the next parking lot, and then drive the race truck in off the trailer, open headers and all. And he's kind of idled it in there. He's very respectful, and he used to hit those. I don't know. Must have had half a dozen of those Sunday morning coffee deals with his full-blown race truck. Super cool. You bring anything you want. There's an interest for all of it. So yeah, unfortunately, there was one event that kind of was segregating certain. The tuner guys weren't allowed, and it was a come and go deal too that I really enjoyed hitting, but they, all they really provided was a parking lot, which is great. I mean, they made arrangements to have that parking lot Friday nights, and they all of a sudden they were getting selective on what cars could attend that event. Unlike the Cars and Coffee, they wanted just the classics. But it then turned into, the classics or the newer cars that kind of fit the bill as far as they were concerned. You could have a newer Camaro in there. You could have a newer T-Bird, or, some of the newer stuff was okay, but not certain genres of, but they would eliminate the tuner guys, and they'd eliminate certain people that they didn't feel fit their criteria, which is weird. I hope they change that for next summer, because I really enjoyed that event. That was one of my favorite deals. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's cars that aren't really my stick. I hear you, Don. I'm not a tuner guy, but I appreciate that those guys have. There's room for them in their car community. Yeah, it's all about. You're right, Rob. Different strokes for different folks. Everybody's into different stuff, and it's no reason why we can't all hang out in the same place. It's all about having fun and getting together. And Cars and Coffee is a really great example of that. Everybody gets along and hangs out and has fun. There is a lot of enthusiasts out there. Tons and tons and tons of enthusiasts. The cool thing about our hobby, and here's the thing, you don't need to show up at these things with a $10,000, $100,000 car. You can show up, you can buy a car out of somebody's backyard for 1,500 bucks and bring it to an event, and it'll get noticed and appreciated. That's what I like about this hobby. And nothing against the $100,000 bills. I love to see those as much as I do the $1,500 bills. There was a fella that showed up at the Cars and Coffee, and I made it that example when I walked by him with the camera. I said, "This is a great example of why you don't have to have deep pockets to be a part of this whole car scene." And it was kind of in its original form. I think it was a 72 Le Mans, and I believe it was a Le Mans Custom. It was a little different than your average Le Mans. It had a white interior, buckets console. And I met the fella, really nice guy. And he apparently, the story on the car, it was bought by some little old gal, and she drove it forever and crashed the car, unfortunately, buckled up. I think it was the left front fender, and she ended up selling or trading or whatever she did with the car. Another fella bought it, and then he just kind of fixed up the damage, but it was very still much in its original form. It's a little bit ratty. It's not perfect by any means, uh, but it's just a neat car. And this guy found it. He bought it, and he's learning stuff about it and taking it out to events and enjoying it. And I've introduced him to Darren at Roland Steel. He had an issue with his wheels or lug nuts or something, and uh, he was going to come back and visit me at JNL Frame, and I was going to, check his front out for him and do an alignment if necessary or whatever, just to keep the thing on the road. He needed a set of tires. Uh, yeah, it needs stuff, but he'll play with it. He'll continue to work on it and drive it and learn about the car and have fun with it. And he doesn't, like you say, he doesn't have a huge investment. You don't need a huge investment to be a part of this thing. That's the best thing about it. Ratty Muscle is in. '59 Chevy barn find. You know what happened to that? Interesting story. So Braden and another fella bought that car, and it just landed in Norway. I believe it's Norway. Maybe if Braden's still on here, he can confirm that. But the car got sold. That barn find car. So they found a car, kind of a barn find deal, '59 Chevy. I think that's the one Mike's referring to. And all the guys did was they got the thing running. It sat for, I don't know, 20 years or something. And it took them longer to vacuum the mouse shit out of it than it actually did to get it running. And they, washed the car up, cleaned it up, got it running, brought it out to a couple of events. Really nice original car, super nice condition. And anyway, before I could get a video done on that car, it got sold. And it went out of the country, and I believe it was Norway. If Braden, if you're on here, you can confirm that. So that car is gone, and it went a long ways. It's in Norway, if I remember correctly. So that's a cool ending to the short story. Well, thanks for tuning in, Dawn. Good to chat with you. Thanks for tuning into the channel. I appreciate you, and keep us posted on what's going on with the Camaro and the Chevelle. Both nice cars, super nice cars. Thanks for watching. Very soon we're going to get together with Mr. Ken's got a lot of stuff going on in his life right now. But I really hope to get him on this live stream. And also, Ken, once he's done with the Beaumont work, the Beaumont, they're almost completed with that paint job. The body is now all in black paint. And they're working, I think what's left is to paint the rest of the interior red. And once he's done with that, he's going to be working on his 67 Chevy drag wagon build. It was torn and he ripped that car apart. It's in the Dragons clubhouse, and he never really got a chance to finish that deal. And he's going to be working on that shortly, and I want to visit him and catch up on the whole drag wagon deal. And also, Ken is really, he's a BAA collector, so British American, gas and oil. He's got a huge collection in his house, and he's really added to that. So I'm hoping to visit Ken this winter yet. We'll see when it works out for him, and we'll get a close look. He's added to that collection, and he's got some really special cans and different things that's new there. So if you're into the gas and oil collections, I'm hoping to have another video with Ken on that, and also revisit his drag wagon build that it has sat for a long time because he's been working on everybody else's car. So as soon as that Beaumont is covered in color, we'll keep up with what Ken's doing there on his own. So now that the Beaumont's covered in color, or will be very soon, I have seen pictures now. Rochelle, who is that, she's technically, that's her car. She doesn't want to really do any video on that until it's unveiled at the Dragons car show this spring. So that is the plan. We'll see if hopefully Kelvin doesn't have a big window to get that car done. There's only about 3-ish months to complete that car. And if you can get it done for the Dragons car show, then that's going to be the big unveil, and that's what she wants. So I'm kind of on video hold until that happens. But that's where that's at. If you guys were wondering where the Beaumont build is, Braden and Ken sprayed that car. They did the roof 1 week, let it sit for a week, masked the roof off because there's a dividing line there. The chrome divides the roof from the bottom half of the car. So they sprayed the top side, masked the top side, and the bottom half got sprayed, I believe, yesterday. I saw pictures of it. They actually invited me before I started this live stream. Ken invited me to come down and look at the car. I'm going to be at the Dragons house clubhouse Monday, so I might get a peek at it. But they've got to do the spray the interior red, and then from there, the two boys are done with it, Ken and Braden, and it's back in Kelvin's hands and his garage, and he's got to assemble that thing in a short hurry. So we'll see how that goes. I hope he can get it done in time. Oh, Rob, you're going to have your car in there? Good. Good to hear. That is a nice, I love that wagon. Pro Street wagon of Rob's. That is a super nice high-end custom build out of California. Really enjoyed the video we did on that one. Hope we did it justice. There's a lot of neat stuff in that one. Very cool build. Yeah, the Beaumont's a 327 4-speed. That's how it was originally, right from day one. That's how it was built. Black exterior, red interior. Apparently, all the the interior, the seats and everything has been, and door panels and whatnot have been recovered already. It's just a matter of assembling the car. And of course, there's wiring and trim pieces, and there's lots to put in the car together. There's a lot of nut and bolt and screws, and it's going to take a bit of work. I hope he can do it. And while we're talking about those cars, the 66 Chevelle build I just visited last Monday, one thing I forgot to mention in that video, that thing's got a little bit of an interesting history. So this is the one that Randy is building for his buddy Gord with the LS in it. So that car apparently had some neat history. It might have had some racing history. Certainly, if anybody, I forgot to mention this in the video, if anybody has ever seen a red 66 Chevelle back in the 80s that said Snorton Horton on the door, and you have any pictures of that car, it was supposed to be a dark red in color back then. I don't know if it was originally a red car, but one of the previous owners came by to see the build at Randy's place there. That's Randy's shop that it's in. And he shared some information, interesting history on that car. So it was a previous owner. That thing, it said Snorton Horton on the driver's and passenger doors. And they thought maybe there was some drag racing history with that car. Now, I reached out to my good friend Blair. Blair, he checked all the archives. Of course, Blair is the former track photographer at SIR. And certainly I thought if anybody had seen the car, he would have. He could not find it in the archives. I spent about an hour on the archives. I couldn't find it either. But certainly if anybody has a picture of that car and would like to, share it, that would be nice to see that. So if you have a picture of a red 66 Chevelle back in the 80s at SIR or a local to Saskatoon, and it said Snorton Horton on the door, and you happen to have a picture, please let me know. Certainly we can share it on the channel, or we could just, share it with the owner, Gord and Randy. And yeah, cool history. I forgot to mention that in the video. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next Dragon show as well, Mike. Yeah. It'll be a good one. They did really well after this last year. After coming back from COVID, I was a little worried. I did a little bit of promotional stuff for the club pre-car show. We shared some sneak peeks on feature cars that were going to be in the show. There is a plan to do that again, and certainly I would if I'm asked. We did talk about doing it again. There's no way of knowing whether or not that brought more people in the door, but it certainly can't hurt to do video, and I'm willing to do that for the club. After coming off of COVID, a 2-year break like that without a car show, And they still made donations to the Camp Easter Seal. Even though there was no income, they still made donations to their charity. And of course, you never know coming back after a big break like that what's going to happen. So anyway, they filled up the show with some phenomenal cars. As far as I never did get, I never asked for any final numbers, gate numbers, but from what I understand, they did pretty good. They did okay, and I'm happy with that. That's great to hear. And hopefully, with all the interest we had this summer, maybe we'll have even a bigger car show for them next spring. I believe it's April 4th. And while we're talking about that, I paid a visit to my buddy Wayne, a Dragons member, and we talked about that poster, uh, that rare poster of the car show that never happened. Well, Wayne was good enough to actually pass on one of those posters. He had an extra one, so I now have one. And then a couple days later, another good Dragons friend of mine, Daryl, showed up at my work, and he had a poster for me. So now I got, and they're on the walls. I'll have to, you guys will see them in future videos. But I got a couple on the walls here of that car show that never happened. Certainly, if you have one of those posters, hang on to it, because who knows? It might be a collector's item someday. It was the car show that never happened. That was the year they actually had, what's his name? Gene Winfield, I believe, was going to come down and chop a car at the car show. Tracy's 70 Hemi Roadrunner convertible was supposed to be there that year. And Gene didn't make it down for the following in 2002 or 2022, last spring. But we had Tracy's car there, and that was cool to see. That is a phenomenal Roadrunner. So I mentioned when I did the Tracy video at his house, that very, very rare Hemi convertible. There now, when he went to McCacken, the international or the Mustang, or pardon me, the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in Chicago, when he attended and unveiled the car there, the car, I believe, scored 999 or 997 out of 1,000. So it scored really high. But I didn't share with you that those 3 points got repaired on the car. So now it's 1,000-point car. So when you saw it in the Dragons car show, if you're lucky enough to see it there, it was 1,000-point car. So those 3 things that it got docked at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals in Chicago when it was unveiled have been repaired. So what we saw at the Dragons car show was 1,000-point deal. Very, very cool build. Very, very rare. That car had a neat history. It was a Saskatchewan car. It was the only one that came to Saskatchewan. And it kind of bounced around a lot, and then it disappeared into Quonset for 20 years. The story is, now it, like I say, it went through several hands, and it ended up, this one fellow owned it, and I'm forgetting some of the details to this story, but anyways, he died in a farming accident. Tragic farming accident. And his good friend ended up getting the car or buying it. And he had plans to restore it kind of in his friend's honor. And they painted it blue and then tucked it away in a garage. And it just, he just didn't have the heart to pull it out. And it sat there for 20 years. Anyway, it was one of those deals. Now, there was all kinds of talk in the Mopar community over that 20-year period. Everybody knew this car existed somewhere. Of course, it did not have the original engine in it. That was the only thing that was missing from the car. That Hemi was long gone. It was apparently, during its life period, it had one of the owners had hit the ditch and hit a post or a fence or something with the car. Took it into a body shop, and while it was in that body shop being repaired, a couple of the employees there actually stole the engine out of the car, and I believe they replaced it with a 383. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to go over that article again. But they replaced it with a different engine, put the air cleaner, the Hemi air cleaner, back on top, and then the owner was none the wiser. You know, he wasn't really a car guy. He was just dropped his car off to get it fixed, and everything seemed normal. And it just got moved down the line and forgotten about. And these guys, apparently they were drag racers that worked at this body shop, and they just a few beers later, they decided we'd swap this engine out for a different one, and we'd steal the Hemi and throw it in our race car, and that thing disappeared. Tracy looked high and low for that engine, and he bought us several Hemis to replace it with. So he had lots of number matching Hemis. Pardon me. He had lots of error correct Hemis to fit into the, to fit the bill, but he could never find the original, and who knows what happened to it. Interesting story of that car. There's cars as rare as they are. What makes them really interesting is the story behind them, the personal connection, the people along the way that have touched that thing. Yeah, the Majestics did awesome as well this year, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great show. I'm glad I got to that one. We did a little bit of video there. And I did an interview with, oh gosh, I forget the fella's name. Cool build. So great place, great show. I think it was, in my opinion, that was the best Majestic show I had ever attended. Not only was the facility a lot nicer, but yeah, the quality of cars. There were a couple of Hemi darts in there. It just blows my mind. One was a real deal car and one was a clone. But regardless, the quality of cars in that show is amazing this year. Hey, Darren, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, my first live stream. I wasn't sure, I always worry about if anybody's going to actually tune into this or not. So far, it's been okay. You never know. I wasn't sure if it was even going to work or not. I had to download some different software on here and give this thing a try. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me okay. It's nice to connect with people. You guys are all my friends, and most of you are friends as a result of this channel, and that's the best part is, chatting with you guys in the comment section is awesome. That's one thing, but to be able to go live like this and actually connect with you just feels so much better. Certainly, if you guys have any questions for me, just fire them away. I'm going to run out of things to talk about here soon. Stormy, drizzly, icy, rainy, cold wind. Oh, in Ontario, yeah. We're supposed to get. It's very nice here today. It's very mild. I didn't look at the temperature, but it's probably about -10 Celsius, and it's nice and clear day. But tonight it's supposed to start snowing here, and we're supposed to get a fair bit of snow tomorrow. But yeah, you got some snow and drizzle and rain in Ontario. Yeah. Yeah, this month or actually last month was terrible, terribly cold, coldest November I ever remember. Chad Welta, Oh, that's the guy. Is that the guy that did the 32 build, Mike? Is that who you're talking about? Yeah, really incredibly talented. You don't see a lot of four-door 32s, but this guy, he wanted a four-door, built a four. I think that's who Mike is referring to. And I forget the name of his club there. Really cool club that they're a part of. And I think was a branch of the Majestics, or a branch, or a kickoff from the Majestics Car Club. I'm trying to remember the name of. We actually, after we were at the Majestic show, we visited uh, one of the guys. The guy always has a garage party. Every Majestic show, there's this garage party that goes on, and I forget the name of the car club now. Maybe somebody could enlighten me here or remind me. Uh, Got to meet a bunch of more car guys and local to the Regina area. Oh, wow. You guys had t-shirt and shorts weather up to November 30th in Ontario. And then it got cold. Wow, you're lucky. We had a horrible November here in Saskatchewan. Super, super frigid weather. There was a number of days it was minus 30 in the morning, degrees Celsius. Super, super, super cold. And a ton of snow, too. We had, uh, I think, record snowfall for November. Every 2 days it snowed a foot here, it seemed. I'm probably exaggerating, but it seemed that way. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna, take off here pretty soon. Oh, the induction heater. Darren is saying he liked the induction heater I had at the shop the other day. So that's a tool that you could tell it's well used. That thing get used a lot. Yeah, those things are pretty cool. Uh, the only stipulation, if you've ever had a broken bone and you've got pins in your wrists or your arms or legs, you can't use those things. Uh, had a employee that went to use that thing and it actually buzzed his whole body. If you have pins in your bones and arms and titanium, whatever, don't turn those things on. That inductive heater will actually buzz those pins. So I like using that. I use it almost every week. You could tell it's pretty worn out tool. You could get different ends for the thing, but I'm always in locations, doing alignments on cars. I'm very close to gas tanks and fuel lines and plastic bits and pieces. Northside Street Rods. You're right, Mike. That's the name of the place, Northside Street Rods. That's the fella that I did the interview with, and we also went to. Now it's not a clubhouse, but it was a garage party of the Northside Street Rod guys. Great bunch of guys. Very, the guy had food and drink for us. There was pop and beer and smokies and I think chili. And it just whoever wants to come and show up. What a great bunch of guys. And they do this every year during the Majestic Car Show. They have this garage party. And of course, a bunch of hot rods show up. So it's in the alley facing kind of backs Albert Street. So we used to see it every time we went to the show and we're going to leave to go home. We'd see this big party. And finally made the connection. And this year, for the first time ever, attended that party. And yeah, I got to meet those guys and see some of their builds. They got some cool builds, man. There are some talented guys in that club. Thank you, Rob. I'm just rambling here. But it's good to hook up with you guys. This live stuff, especially in the wintertime when I'm not seeing you on a regular basis, it's kind of a cool deal. Now that winter's here and our cars are in storage, it's probably a good thing to do more of these live feeds. Thank you, Darren. I really appreciate that. Thanks. I wasn't sure if I should do this or not. I kind of put some feelers out there in a couple of videos whether I should do a live feed or not. And I didn't really get a lot of feedback. And yeah, I was a little worried whether I'd log on here and be all by myself for the afternoon, but it's turned out great. You never know. You just got to take that leap sometimes and try different things. I wasn't even sure if this laptop was going to do it or not. Yeah, we got some stuff planned in the future here, Darren. I was just mentioning that, there's, a handful of guys, and there's always stuff that pops up. A lot of this stuff isn't planned. I mentioned Ken. We're going to visit Ken here soon, not only at the Dragons Clubhouse to see his build, but also at his house to see his BA collection. We've talked about that. There's some other guys I'm going to kind of poke at to see if we can get in to see their cars. Yeah, there's a short list, and it's kind of hit and miss during the winter when cars are in storage. It's tough. Some storage situations aren't very favorable for a video. Hey, Bob, good to see you. Good to see Bob on here. Bob, I hope you can find a 66 Chevelle soon. I've been looking. I don't know if you've had any luck or not. Bob's in the market for a 66 Chevelle, so if anybody's got a 66 Chevelle for sale, Bob's kind of in the market unless things have changed. He'll let us know here, hopefully. But yeah, I'm hoping to get into some more garages soon. Well, I hope you're not in the hospital today, Darren. I hope you're at home doing well. But glad you're tuning in. Oh, some Tub Gen 1 Camaro. So Bob is also interested in Tub Gen 1 Camaro. Well, you actually had one of those, Bob, and you let it go. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay on here. I don't even know when I started this thing, but we're going to have to tune off soon. Oh, you're watching on the big screen. Cool. Glad you're at home doing well, Darren. Watching on the big screen. That's typically how I watch my videos, is on the big screen. Oh, Pearl's on here. How you doing? Oh, you're watching on your TV too? Hi, Pearl. Xbox. Oh, through the Xbox. Yeah. Yeah, I like to, where I really got into watching, I'd watch YouTube on my phone the odd time, and I enjoyed it, but it was kind of sporadic. And then when I discovered my smart TV actually had it on the TV, well, I got to be watching it on the big screen. We've got a 55-inch TV or something, and that's the best way to watch those videos. I don't have all it's hard to do as many, likes and subscribes and stuff like that with the television. I got to play with that a little bit more. It's a lot easier to do that on the phone than it is on the TV, but it's still, there's a way to do it. I just got to figure out that stuff. But I certainly like watching all that stuff on the big screen. Oh, you got some stuff for the Baby Demon. It's in storage right now. Yeah, my car's in storage too. I do have some plans for that thing. Not a lot of stuff. We'll see how it goes. I do have some rear control arm bushings I'm hoping to put in that thing over my Christmas holidays. I don't know where I got them here. Anyway, they're not real close to me, but I've got some urethane bushings and some plans to box the rear lower control arms. So that's something I'm hoping to do. Yes, Bob, I got those posters on the wall. I don't know if you saw them in the last video, but the last video I posted in here, you could kind of see them in the background. I got a couple of posters from Bob, uh, and Bob gave me some Sick Week mags that he's subscribed to. What's his name? Oh gosh. Anyway, very, very cool stuff from Sick Week, and Bob gave me those as a gift, and I've got them on the wall. Thank you. Tim Bailey, yeah, Tom Bailey. Sorry, Tom Bailey from Sick Week. So he has a, well, I believe he's in the fives now with that well, he's got two Camaros, and his son has a '57 Chevy wagon, and they're super fast. Well, they're considered street cars, and he has done, Rocky Mountain Race Week. 588. You're right, Bob. Yeah, he's below sixes now, and that thing drives on the street. Twin turbo, big block. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, Pearl. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Tom Bailey, I'm a big fan. He's got a YouTube channel. If you guys haven't watched Tom Bailey, check out his channel. Super cool. Super, super, super cool stuff. I'm a big fan of that go fast stuff. I have an appreciation for all vehicles, all builds, all customs, classics, hot rods, muscle cars. But I've always had a soft spot, and I know Bob has too, for the go fast pro street look and stuff. Very, very cool. Yeah, he does Sick Week and the Dragon Drives. Wow. Yeah, I have to agree, Bob. I like the Dragon Drive stuff. It was cool when they had that here a few years ago. They had a Dragon Drive event, fastest streetcar deal when you're having, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 horsepower cars driving on the streets of the city, and they got to make so many miles, and they zip back to the track, and then they make, 6-second passes. It's just incredible. Incredible test of man and machine. I like the Dragon Drive stuff, the Rocky Mountain Race Week, and I'm really a big fan of the one in Canada now, Miles of Mayhem. There you go, Bob. Miles of Mayhem. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I've met some of the folks that have run that event, and that is a grueling deal. Yeah, and trailer burnouts. You're right, Darren. Yeah, that's the coolest ever. There's a lot of you know YouTubers, and Dan at DD Speed Drop took part in that. There's a fellow local here, Shade Tree Mechanical, that had his 55 in there. Boosted Lifestyle, another channel I follow. Well, Zip Ties and Buy Supplies, that's another guy in northern Alberta. Those guys are all taking part in those Dragon Drive, Miles of Mayhem. That was a lot of fun to watch. There's another local fella here, Mopar guy. I did an interview with him on one of his cars. Not the one that was in the Miles of Mayhem, but he was a member. He was a participant in that Miles of Mayhem, and had a lot of fun. I would like to take part in an event like that. That would be, the Chevelle's a long way from, I don't know that I'd even make a 750 class, but and certainly pulling a trailer would be, I'd have to do some work with that thing. But it'd be fun to take part in. Yeah, Darren. Yeah, Miles of Mayhem would be fun. And any time spent at the track is fun. Just go out there and have fun. I wanted to get that car out to SIR. If I can get some of my stuff done this summer, or pardon me, this winter on that car, I'd love to take it out to SIR and just make a few blasts with it just to have fun. There is some things I need to do. I did get the posi carrier in there, which was a must. That thing, it, but I also need a set of drag rail radials at the very least. I've just got a Cooper Cobra radial tire. It's a hard tire on there. It's not going to hook up. It just blows away. It was worse with the one legger, and now that I've got posi, it still won't hook up. And I need to get myself a good drag radial at the very least, or a set of slicks to make some decent passes out there. And I'm going to definitely put in some bushings in the rear control arms. The last time I spent any amount of time at SIR, I had a real bad time with wheel hop in the car. And it wasn't with this specific car. It was a 70 Monte Carlo I had. Basically the same chassis, the same factory 4-link deal. And that car wheel hopped violently. It almost knocked the dash right off the car. And it got dangerous. And I started breaking axles as a result of that wheel hop. I think I'd get 11 runs out of the car, and I'd break an axle, and it got expensive. So anyway, that was the end of my drag racing days. Back then, it was back in the late 80s, early 90s when I frequented, I was an SDRA member back then, and I was out at the track every weekend. And yeah, I had a mortgage. I was a single guy. Wasn't making very good money at the time. I was on a tight budget, trying to go drag racing and having fun. And once the car got making more power, it was also breaking more parts. So it became expensive. So that ended my drag racing career back in like 94, I believe it was. That was the last time I was out there. Long time ago. So I'm no longer a single guy with, I'm not the only guy paying the mortgage here. So maybe I can afford to make some passes out there again, just to have fun with the Chevelle and see how it does. I don't know if it'll be as fast. I doubt that it's as fast as the last car I ran out there, but just to have fun. Car should be, I'm not sure. The closest track to us here, Darren, is SIR, Saskatchewan International Raceway. It's only 9 miles from the city here in Saskatoon. And it's a world-class track. I believe it's under IHRA regulations now. It was NHRA forever and ever. Your thoughts on those whom say all cars should be EV and the future of car meets? Wow, well, I just posted a shorts video on what I think of EV vehicles. I am not. So if anybody attended SEMA or watched any video from SEMA, there is a entire section of hot rods dedicated to EV vehicles. I am not real crazy about that. We can get into a long discussion about EV vehicles. It's not a viable future for the world to go EV. I know the government is forcing all our automakers to produce EV vehicles now. They have to all have some form of EV vehicles, electric vehicles. by certain dates. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, and one thing that really upset me was seeing Project X converted to an electric vehicle. That was an iconic car that I followed ever since I was 10 years old. That car's 10 or 13 or whatever that forever I've followed that car. It was a lot of different things. It was a 9-second drag car. It was a movie car. uh, I didn't mind it even when it had the LS in it, but they took that, put it all back to kind of its original movie days form with the blower on it and small block and a blower, and then they ripped out all apart and put in, air, all that cool Wizzy tech came out of it, and they put an electric motor in it, and that was, all the cars they could have did. That was not the one. They got a lot of bad feedback on that, and I don't feel good about it either. I know the Project X 57 Chevy, that popular hot rodding had for years and years, was always a platform for new stuff. And they thought it was a good fit to try this electric stuff out. But that car had become such a historic car and a movie car in Hollywood Nights, driven by Tony Danza. And I think it was Michelle Pfeiffer in that movie and a host of other. Great movie, a great iconic car, and it was too bad to see that thing converted to EV. Yeah, yeah, I hated seeing that. Yeah, this question is a political one, that's for sure. No replacement for displacement. I agree. Yeah, I don't know if we have to worry about meats getting banned or not. I think we're still, us hobbyists, I think there's still a place for us, and we make up such a small percentage of the total number of cars out there. Uh, I don't think that'll happen. Not, I don't. I hope it doesn't happen in my lifetime. Uh, yeah. So I'm on a committee that I've never really shared this with you guys before. I'm on a committee that's working with SGI to keep our muscle cars on the road. And under the current legislation, we've got it pretty good here. We can actually take a vehicle out of, in Saskatchewan, you could take a vehicle out of a tree row in a field, out of a backyard, put a plate on it and drive it. So we're very, very, very lucky here. Other provinces do not have that leisure. So we're very lucky here. However, a lot of vehicles now, it all falls, all these muscle cars, hot rods, from post 50, everything from 58 up to current day falls under a certain set of rules. And unfortunately, some folks are getting pulled over by the police and SGI, and they're saying, well, this is illegal, that's not legal. And these cars are getting pulled off the road. So we've been working with SGI. There's a small committee. I'm on that committee. Small group of us working with them. Bob's also on that committee. And we've made some great gains. SGI really wants to work with us. And what I'm getting at, to answer Pearl's question here, in those meetings, we've learned through SGI what percentage of the hot rodders are out there, and what percentage what do we cost our government to be a hobbyist? And it's very little. We're pretty good. We're a pretty good bank for them. And I don't know that even with all the rules and regulations and all this talk about EV vehicles, I can't see them taking our cars away, taking us off the road, banning meats, banning. There's lots of worry about that. There's lots of stuff to worry about. And there's all kinds of. Last year there was all kinds of talk things going on in the States, SEMA getting involved. There's a lot of weird stuff. I don't have all the information to share with you on here, but I can tell you in Saskatchewan anyway that we're we're looked at as an okay bunch of guys, and they want to work with us to keep our hot rods on the road and not remove us. Uh, yeah, we're like you say, Bob, SGI's best customers. That's absolutely true. We have the least amount of claims. Uh, we pay our bills. We drive our cars seasonally. We look after them. We're not driving stupid. A lot of us are older demographic, and ladies. Yeah, you're right, Pearl. Uh, Now your car really doesn't fall under that criteria because you've got a newer vehicle. Your Challenger's a newer car. It's the ones that fall under that spectrum of no modifications is the the older cars, 58 to 87. Yeah, basically covers every muscle car out there. Under the current rules, we can't even have an aftermarket muffler. And if you look everywhere you look, you can't find a factory muffler. And the way the book reads, I shouldn't say equivalent. You could put a equivalent muffler on your car, equivalent to OE, but it doesn't read that way in the book. It says must be factory. So if you're driving a Chevy, it has to be whatever muffler came on that car when it was new. And no muscle car out there that's 50 years old has its original muffler. So right there, that is enough. If they wanted to get sticky, could pull any car off the road. Not one of them is legal under the current rules. However, there's been some changes. I can't really announce it on here. There's been some positive work towards that. Yes, Bob. And you and yours have a Merry Christmas as well. Thanks for tuning in. Well, guys, I think I'm going to sign off here. I don't know how long I've been on here. It seems like it's been over an hour anyway. So I really appreciate you all for tuning in. It's been fun to try this live thing out for something new. I enjoyed it. And I think we're going to do it again. It seems to work. It seems to work fine. So anyway, hopefully we can do this with some guests next time. And I very much appreciate all of you. Happy holidays, Darren. Good to have you on here. See you, Pearl, Bob, Neil, Mike, Rob, Darren, all you guys. It was great tuning in with you and talking with you live in person. And I appreciate you. We'll see you guys again. Thanks for tuning in.